Hi, welcome to day 11 of the Genesis 20 day read through. So we're over halfway now, or at least we definitely will be over halfway once you've got through this day. We'll be on to the smaller part. So today we're going to read from Genesis 25 verse 19 all the way through chapters 27. And here we have the introduction of Esau and Jacob and their story. And we've entitled this Family Dysfunctions because EastEnders has nothing on our Old Testament and the weird and wonderful things which happen within it. So, hope you enjoy. Hope it sparks some memories of all those Bible stories that you used to have when you were little. Let's read it. I'm going to read it from the Good News Bible today. So we've got the Good News version for you. Genesis 25, verse 19. This is the story of Abraham's son Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, an Armenian of Mesopotamia, and sister of Laban. Because Rebekah had no children, Isaac prayed to the Lord for her. The Lord answered his prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant. She was going to have twins. And before they were born, they struggled against each other in her womb. She said, "Why should something like this happen to me?" So she went to ask the Lord for an answer. The Lord said to her, "Two nations are within you. You will give birth to two rival peoples. One will be stronger than the other. The older will serve the younger." The time came for her to give birth, and she had twin sons. The first one was reddish, and his skin was like a hairy robe. So he was named Esau. The second one was born holding on tightly to the heel of Esau. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. The boys grew up, and Esau became a skilled hunter, a man who loved the outdoor life. But Jacob was a quiet man who stayed at home. Isaac preferred Esau because he enjoyed eating animals that Esau killed, but Rebekah preferred Jacob. One day, while Jacob was cooking some bean soup, Esau came in from hunting. He was hungry, and he said to Jacob, "I'm starving. Give me some of that red stuff." That is why he was called Edom. Jacob answered, "I will give it to you if you give me your rights as firstborn son." Esau said, "All right, I'm about to die. What good will my rights do me then?" Jacob answered, "First make a vow that you will give me your rights." Esau made the vow. Then Jacob gave him some bread and some of the soup. He ate and drank and then got up and left. That was all Esau cared about, his rights as the firstborn son. Genesis 26. There was another famine in the land besides the earlier one during the time of Abraham. Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, at Gerar. The Lord had appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go to Egypt. Stay in this land where I tell you to stay. Live here, and I will be with you, and I will bless you. I am going to give all this territory to you and to your descendants. I will keep the promise I made to your father Abraham. I will give you as many descendants as there are stars in the sky, and I will give them all this territory. All the nations will ask me to bless them as I have blessed your descendants. I will bless you because Abraham obeyed me and kept all my laws and commands." So Isaac lived at Gerar. When the men there asked about his wife, he said that she was his sister. He would not admit that she was his wife because he was afraid that the men there would kill him to get Rebekah, who was very beautiful. When Isaac had been there for some time, King Abimelech looked down from his window and saw Isaac and Rebekah making love. Abimelech sent for Isaac and said, "So she's your wife? Why did you say she was your sister?" He answered, "I thought I would be killed if I said she was my wife." "What have you done to us?" Abimelech said. "One of my men might easily have slept with your wife, and you would have been responsible for our guilt." Abimelech warned his people, "Anyone who ill-treats this man or his wife will be put to death." Isaac sowed seed in that land, and that year he harvested 100 times as much as he had sown, because the Lord blessed him. He continued to prosper and become a very rich man. Because he had many herds of sheep and cattle and many servants, the Philistines were jealous of him. So they filled in all the wells which the servants of his father Abraham had dug while Abraham lived. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Leave our country. You have come more powerful than we are." So Isaac left and set up his camp in the valley of Gerar, where he stayed for some time. He dug once again the wells which had been dug during the time of Abraham, and which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham's death. Isaac gave the wells the same names that his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug a well in the valley and found water. The shepherds of Gerar quarrelled with Isaac's shepherds and said, "This water belongs to us." So Isaac named the well Quarrel. Isaac's servant dug another well, and there was a quarrel about that one also, so he named it Enmity. He moved away from there and dug another well. There was no dispute about this one, so he named it Freedom. He said, "Now the Lord has given us freedom to live in the land, and we will be prosperous here." Isaac left and went to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid. I am with you. I will bless you and give you many descendants because of my promise to my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. Then he set up his camp there, and the servants dug another well. Abimelech came from Gerar with Ahuzarath, his advisor, and Philkil, the commander of his army, to see Isaac. So Isaac asked, "Why have you now come to see me, when you were so unfriendly to me before and made me leave your country?" They answered, "Now we know that the Lord is with you, and we think that there should be some solemn agreement between us. We want you to promise that you will not harm us, just as we did not harm you. We were kind to you and let you leave peacefully. Now it is clear that the Lord has blessed you." Isaac prepared a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early next morning, each man made his promise and sealed it with a vow. Isaac said goodbye to them, and they parted as friends. On that day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well which they had dug. They said, "We have found water." He named the well Vow. That is how the city of Beersheba got its name. When Esau was 40 years old, he married 2 Hittite women, Judith, the daughter of Beeri, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon. They made life miserable for Isaac and Rebekah. Genesis 27. Isaac was now old and had become blind. He sent for his elder son Esau and said to him, "My son?" "Yes," he answered. Isaac said, "You see that I am old and I may die soon. Take your bow and arrows. Go out into the country. Kill an animal for me. Cook me some of that tasty food that I like and bring it to me. After I have eaten it, I will give you my final blessing before I die." While Isaac was talking to Esau, Rebekah was listening. So when Esau went out to hunt, she said to Jacob, I have just heard your father say to Esau, bring me an animal and cook it for me. After I have eaten it, I will bless you. I will give you my blessing in front of the Lord just before I die. Now, my son, Rebekah continued, listen to me and do what I say. Go to the flock and pick out 2 fat young goats, so that I can cook them and make some of that food your father likes so much. Then you can take it to him to eat, and he will give you his blessing before he dies. But Jacob said to his mother, you know that Esau is a hairy man, but I have smooth skin. Perhaps my father will touch me and find out that I am deceiving him. In this way I will bring a curse on myself instead of a blessing. His mother answered, let any curse against you fall on me, my son. Just do as I say and go get the goats for me. So he went to get them and he brought them to her, and she cooked the kind of food that his father liked. Then she took Esau's best clothes, which she kept in the house, and put them on Jacob. She put the skins of the goats on his arms and on the hairless part of his neck. She handed him the tasty food together with the bread that she had baked. Then Jacob went to his father and said, Father. Yes, he answered. Which of my sons are you? Jacob answered, I am your eldest son, Esau. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of the meat that I have brought you, so that you can give me your blessing. Isaac said, How did you find it so quickly, my son? Jacob answered, The Lord your God helped me to find it. Isaac said to Jacob, Please come closer so that I can touch you. Are you really Esau? Jacob moved closer to his father, who felt him and said, Your voice sounds like Jacob's, but your arms feel like Esau's arms. He did not recognize Jacob because his arms were hairy like Esau's. He was about to give him his blessing, but he asked again, Are you really Esau? I am, he answered. Isaac said, Bring me some of the meat. After I have eaten it, I will give you my blessing. Jacob brought it to him, and he also brought him some wine to drink. Then his father said to him, Come closer and kiss me, my son. As he came up to kiss him, Isaac smelt his clothes. So he gave him his blessing. He said, The pleasant smell of my son is like the smell of a field which the Lord has blessed. May God give you dew from heaven and make your fields fertile. May he give you plenty of corn and wine. May nations be your servants, and may peoples bow down before you. May you rule over your relatives, and may your mother's descendants bow down before you. May those who curse you be cursed, and may those who bless you be blessed. Isaac finished giving his blessing, and as soon as Jacob left, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He also cooked some tasty food and took it to his father. He said, Please, father, sit up and eat some of the meat that I have brought for you so that you can give me your blessing. Who are you? Isaac asked. Your eldest son, Esau, he answered. Isaac began to tremble and shake all over, and he asked, Who was it then who killed an animal and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came. I gave him my final blessing, and so it is his forever. When Esau heard this, he cried out loudly and bitterly and said, Give me your blessing also, father. Isaac answered, Your brother came and deceived me. He has taken away your blessing. Esau said, This is the second time that he has cheated me. No wonder his name is Jacob. He took my rights as the firstborn son, and now he has taken away my blessing. Haven't you saved any blessing for me? Isaac answered, I have already made him master over you, and I have made all his relatives his slaves. I have given him corn and wine. Now there is nothing left I can do for you, my son." Esau continued to plead with his father. "Have you only one blessing, father? Bless me too, father." He began to cry. Then Isaac said to him, "No dew from heaven for you, no fertile fields for you. You will live by your sword, but be your brother's slave. Yet when you rebel, you will break away from his control." Esau hated Jacob because his father had given Jacob the blessing. He thought, the time to mourn my father's death is near. Then I will kill Jacob. But when Rebekah heard about Esau's plan, she sent for Jacob and said, "Listen, your brother Esau is planning to get even with you and kill you. Now, my son, do as I say. Go at once to my brother Laban in Haran and stay with him for a while until your brother's anger cools down and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send someone to bring you." Why should I lose both my sons on the same day? Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am sick and tired of Esau's foreign wives. If Jacob also marries one of these Hittite women, I might die as well." Okay, so what can we say about those chapters? Well, like I said, it's definitely an EastEnders moment. What a dysfunctional family. It definitely makes me feel better about my own family. Favouritism, duplicity, tricking, anger, threats to kill. Yeah, a very interesting upbringing between Jacob and Esau. The other thing I always think is really significant. In Genesis, we have a long period of time following Abraham. And all the time that we're following Abraham, we're promised this son. We're promised this son. The son's coming. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you through him. And we get a long time following him. You get a long time with Jacob. Jacob and Esau. Jacob obviously is the main person in that story, and we're going to see his story progress. We're going to hear quite a lot more about his life. And then the biggest character is Joseph, that one with the Technicolor Dreamcoat, him. He gets 12 chapters I think it is, that's dedicated to his life. But Isaac, this promised son, that one that we were waiting all last week for, he gets like a chapter. And his chapter, in chapter 26, 27, it's about digging wells. I mean, we know that God's with him, because that's what it says. It says, oh, God was with Isaac. God came and he says, "My promise is with you, just like it was with your father. I'm going to bless the nations for you." But that's it. We don't have long sort of discussions about what he does in his life. It's not like Abraham. I mean, the bits that we have seem to be a replica of Abraham's story with the famine and going to Egypt or not going to Egypt and Abimelech. We don't hear much about his life. He just faithfully digs these wells that get filled in, or people try and steal them off him, and yet he just moves on and builds another well. It's like he's this sort of steadfast, just faithful. He's just faithful, and it's not that it's huge things, but he's faithful, and he's faithful in his life. I can't say that I'd like him as a dad though, and I'm not sure I'd like Rebekah much as my mum. I don't think it's a good idea to pick favourites. Yeah, probably best just to love all your children equally. But we have this story of Jacob and Esau, and it's there's lots of things to discuss. Esau, why on earth did you just sell your birthright for a bowl of soup? It better have been some really good yummy soup. I mean, I've come in from like a run, and I've been absolutely starved, and I still don't think I'd like sell my birthright. I think I'd probably just cook some soup myself. And you get that undercurrent, don't you? Can you just hear it, that actually he's marrying people that they're not happy with? And why are they not happy with them? Are they just not happy because they don't want him to marry foreigners, or are they not happy because of what those women's influence is on their son's life? And so it almost seems like, actually, though Jacob is the grasper, though Jacob is the deceiver and the trickster, he actually might be more of a certainty for the continuation of a covenant people who stick with God. Because we do see later on that marriage can be quite a big issue, that wives have sometimes a tendency further on in the Old Testament to take men away from the one true God if they don't believe it themselves. So what do you think? What do you think about the family dysfunctions? Where do you think, where do you side? Is Esau the bad one? Is Jacob? Is Isaac? Is Rebecca? Who, where do you lie? Plenty to discuss, plenty to think about, and hopefully you'll take that away with you.